please.
The guts. The glory. To us.
The city we love the most.
In these old stories used here, I don't suppose anyone ever mentioned John Morgan, did they?
It's personal.
I just want people to know who and what you really are.
An Englishman's home is his castle. Your defences are gone, your drawbridge is down. You've been taken over, and you're queen.
Hell must be empty, because all the devils are here. Sometimes in life, if you want to catch the bad guy, you have to become the bad guy.
How about that for happy families?
Thomas, it's up for grabs now! Thomas! Right at the end! And it's Tony Adams put through by Steve Ball. Would you believe it? Welter! Patrick Vieira is in for Arsenal and sweeps it home. It's bergkamp. That's magnificent. He stripped it away from Carr. Henri! And it's Arsenal. Arsenal, let's see. Here's my phone, let's see. It's time to go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new program. I thought I'd bring the old school in tonight, proper old school. Went to Highbury when it was 50 pence to get into the ground. So here we go. I'm going to introduce them to you. First of all, we have Russell. How are you, Russell, mate? How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. Over the virus now. The virus a few weeks ago, and feeling a lot better now. And yeah, looking forward to doing this with you, mate. Reminiscing over some old times and discussing some topics with you lads.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
And also from Los Angeles, the man who used to go regularly to Arsenal, I'm sure when it was 50p to go through the turnstiles. Lawrence Emmanuel, how are you, friend?
Yeah, hello, Claude. Hello, Russell. Yeah, 10 Bob, because today is 50 years ago. It was decimalisation day on this day 50 years ago.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? And look how much we got to pay for the rubbish that we watch now, eh?
Yeah, and it wasn't rubbish back then, Claude.
Yeah. Hey. Well,
I said it wasn't rubbish back then.
There was a period in the 80s where we all were standing outside Avenel Road. I'm sure you and Russell can remember that, when Terry Neal after the Walsall game.
Yeah, there was a period in the 70s as well when it wasn't too clever.
Yeah.
We was looking like good candidates to go down at Easter, and managed to score a goal against Stoke, a 1-0 win on Easter Monday, I think it was, and 35-yard screamer. We won 1-0, and it got us out of relegation places. So that was at Easter. So we was in the shit, really. Yeah.
Let's before we go back, we'll go back in time in them soon. But let's talk about the recent events. Sunday, impressive win from the Arsenal, 4-2 in the end. Fought the first 60 minutes, total control. Bit sloppy in the last half an hour, but Russell, first of all, was you impressed on Sunday?
I was impressed by the movement of the forward players in as you said, the first 55, 60 minutes. Gradually, slowly but surely, we're starting to see improvement in that direction, and that's no coincidence, because the personnel was more forward thinking now.
Yeah,
it's even making Granit Xhaka look a little bit tidier and a little bit more forward thinking as well, because he's actually got some movement. He's not got statues standing in front of him. And yeah, I was very impressed. There's been little periods, hasn't there? Little periods in games where we've done that, but we don't seem to be able to do what other good sides do and keep that intensity up for the whole 90 minutes. I'm a bit worried we're a 45, 50-minute team, really. Yeah. But, yeah, the concentration... Bellerin was very good, by the way. I'm one of his biggest critics, but Bellerin was very good going forward, scored a goal, put it on that full-back on that side quite a few times and looked decent. But he's always got that thing in him where he'll just go asleep. And defensively, I don't think he's quite good enough for us. But, yeah, he played well going forward, no question about it. Smith Rowe I like a lot. He's got to be nursed, though. He's got to be, managed properly so we don't ruin him. And Saka, he's a fantastic player. Once he gets his noodle round a few things, he's going to be one brilliant player for us. He's going to save us a lot of money. It's all positive from me from the weekend. Obviously, there was a lot of rubbish went on in the previous two games. Sloppy starts and dreadful refereeing decisions. I mean, there was even dreadful refereeing decisions on the weekend, wasn't there? There was mind-blowing decisions. And not only our game, the Man United game. The refereeing's awful. It really is atrocious. And the VAR is supposed to be helping them. They're making it worse.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah. I thought, Lawrence, looking at Sunday's game, I thought, yes, it was impressive, but is it the way that Leeds played that allowed us to play a bit more? Because I thought when the team was selected that this is a bit too open to attack with Odegaard and Smith Rowe but I think he went toe to toe with Leeds on Sunday. Do you think we have to change it slightly on a team on Thursday because Benfica will play a different sort of system?
Yeah, well, Leeds are the entertainers. All their games end up in crazy scores. Liverpool beat them 4-3, United beat them 6-2. I mean, they never know when they're beaten. And as I said, the way they came back into the game yesterday, I had deja vu of when we threw that 4-goal lead up at Newcastle a few years back.
Yeah.
Because, it looked a bit dicey at the end.
Checkity-oti. Yeah, I can remember that,
yeah. I don't know if Arteta is going to do some rotation on Thursday. Maybe that's why he rested Pepe yesterday and Martinelli. Bellerin, I thought, apart from the goal he scored, I didn't think he had a good game. Sorry, Russell, but he looked so nervous on the ball. He's got no confidence. There was an incident near the end of the game, just after it was 4-2. We attacked at Leeds, and he was clean through on the edge of the box. All he had to do was to whack it across the goalkeeper, and he decided to take a touch, and he took a heavy touch and lost control of the ball. I would really prefer to see Cedric on the right, because I think he's a much better right back than Bellerin right now. I'm sorry to say, I think Bellerin's finished with. Whether he keeps the rest of the defence the same, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping Mari will play on Thursday, because I don't know. I just felt uncomfortable with Luiz and Gabriel at the back there yesterday, because the way Leeds were coming at us at the end, had they got another goal, who knows what would have happened.
There was a moment at 4-2 where we were completely open at the back, and it could have, the poor finish, and it could have been 4-3, and it would have been an interesting few 15 minutes or so, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, if the referee
And the debate
referee had given
decision against Bamford as well, which, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if he had given that penalty, who knows what could have happened?
Yeah, it happened against Chelsea, and all we got a bit sloppy, didn't we? Do you remember when we were 3-1 up? It was 3-0 comfortably going along, and then they scored, and then they had that penalty. If they'd have scored that as well, it's these moments happen. It's I can see what we can.
I think it's a mentality thing, Claude. I think it's we haven't got that easy Ozy thing out of us. You've got to work against these Premiership teams. None of them give up until the last minute. You've got to be at it from the first to the last. And as I say, I'm a bit worried because I see this a lot. Even at 4-0 down, I know if they get a goal, we're going to be backs against the wall for 20 minutes. And there's no need for that. You've got to manage the games better, I think. Yeah,
I mean, as you remember St James's Park, we got so badly caught by that, didn't we? I just think Aubameyang playing down the middle, that was interesting because he's normally playing down the side, but he was playing down the middle, and then he gets a hat-trick. Do you know what I'm saying? But I want to see if that works against tougher, not so much tougher opposition, but a team that's more different style of play. I think Leeds allow you to play that open attacking football. And I think what Arteta did get right, he went for it from the start, playing the press, the high press. That was brilliant, and Leeds couldn't cope with it in the first half. But once they got a bit of control of the game, they looked quite dangerous, didn't they, in the second half? Be interested to see how they finish the season, but they are going to entertain a lot of people. But there's going to be scorelines going in their way. If you look at their goals conceded, they conceded over 40 goals this season, haven't they, Leeds?
They're very open side, best way to play against them is to hit them on the counter.
Would you boys play? Would you go with the same team against Benfica? I put a poll out today on Twitter. I said, would you go with the same team against Benfica, or would you change it, start because different opposition, different type of opposition? What do you think, Russ? We don't. I mean, I don't know much about Benfica because this is one. They're a bit of an unknown quantity, but they're defensively they're very good. So they might be.
Yeah. Have they got the Tottenham centre half playing for
them? They got Vertonghen. Yeah.
I don't know a lot about them, but I would like to see the same side, or as near as the same side, start a game because I don't care about the league. I don't care about the league position. This is our only avenue to get where the money is, and our club, as we know, won't spend the money to get us into that. We've got to do it on our own back, self-sustaining model. So we've got to do that on ourselves. So I think there's a lot of fixtures coming up in the league which, with this side, are debatable whether we will get results. So I will put all my eggs into this Europa League basket now and try and get as far in it and try and win it, because I think that's a bit like the FA Cup was last year. It was our only realistic, after the Champions League debacle, the league position had just gone away from us. It was the only way we were going to get into a European competition. So I honestly believe that is our only way forward now. So this ownership will never put their hands in their pocket. People on various groups and stuff I'm on, and various podcasts I've been in, I've seen some of the replies about they put their hands in their pocket for this and they put their hands in their pocket for that, but they haven't. It's a self-sustaining model. As soon as they put their hand in their pocket, it's no longer a self-sustaining model. So I'm afraid while we've got these owners, we have to just do it on our own. We're on our own here. So we've just got to hope that we can get as far as we can in this competition and have a chance of getting to the final and winning it. In a one-off game, we can beat anyone. We've seen that before. So it's the two-leg games that worry me, especially against some better sides. But That's what I would do. I would go with our strongest side now, and just the league. The league to me is finished this season. It's just a matter of a few million quid for positional prize money. That's my little thought on that one.
Yeah, Kenny, I've sent you the link, Kenny. If you want to come on, mate. No, come on, mate. I didn't see you in the backstage. Sorry, mate. I was chatting there. Come on, mate. I'll look out for you and come on. The boys would love to hear from you, mate. Come on, mate. Please, come on, mate. Sorry, go on, Lawrence, mate.
I just feel like he may bring Pepe into this team on Thursday in place of Odegaard. Get some pace going down the side. I agree with Russell. We've got to put our eggs into the Europa League because we can forget about top 4 this season. There's no way we're going to get there. And we need the Champions League, because if we're not in the Champions League next year, how are we going to attract the top players to come to the club? So it's a necessity this season.
Yeah, I totally agree because, as you say, the league is mind you, they say we're 6 points off 4th place now. So I don't know. I mean, no chance, boys. No chance of the champion 4th place.
Because, this is an inconsistent, young, growing side with a manager who's learning on the job. He's made a lot of mistakes, Arteta, and he's got caned for it. He's had an awful lot of mess to clear up from the previous regimes.
Well, he shouldn't. To be honest with you, this is where I stand on it. I don't think you're going to agree with me here. But no. I don't think he should have got the job in the first place.
Well, we're all agreed there, Claude. I mean, we all said this at the time, didn't we? It was a cheap option.
This is not a job for learners. I mean,
exactly right. Exactly.
It's not a football club, yeah, and especially with the mess we were in at the time. And I'll come on to Wenger's comments at the weekend, which I can't believe what I was hearing.
My blood boiled when I read it. When I watched the interview, my blood actually boiled, Claude.
We'll go on to it in a minute. But
not very hard to do.
I'm just saying. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was listening to. I mean,
I could.
We've got an owner, and this is where we're different from Chelsea because actually you're talking about self-sustaining and everything. What Roman does is not his own money. What it is he loans into the company, he loans into Chelsea, yeah, and then he'll get that money back. So I can't see why our owners could not borrow to say that we could go when there's I don't know how many. When is Kenny in? Someone's got private chat here. What's this? I'm backstage. Where are you, Kenny?
The thing is, when Kroenke first came into the club, and he became majority shareholder. Hello, Kenny. He had no intentions of spending any money. He was quite plain and clear from the start. I haven't bought Arsenal to win trophies. I bought Arsenal to make money. That was his very words. And
I understand that, but he could have actually. I can't understand it. We'll go on to this now. We'll go on to it because Kenny's in now as well. Arsene Wenger said that if we bought players, if we didn't sell those players, we would have gone bust. Which I can't understand it. I can't understand how we would have gone bust if we didn't sell. So what was the point then of moving from Highbury to the Emirates then? If we couldn't cope with a new stadium, and
Can I answer that? Money, dividends, big bucks, going through the roof. That's the reason. No football reason. Not ambition to be the best club in the country, which David Dean wanted, which is why David Dean fell out with Fitzman. He fell out with the board. He fell out with all of them in the end. Yes, I know he introduced us to Kroenke and he made a right ricket there, but he could see the writing on the wall. And Ashley Cole was the start of it, and then we had Nasri going, and then we had Van Persie going, and then we were asset stripped to pay directors' dividends. That is evident from what Wenger said. Not we weren't going bust. Did you see the figures for all them years? We were making massive profits every year, and that was extra divvy for the directors. We were lied to, absolutely 100% by the board, by Wenger. Don't forget all this about his having to sell players for that 7 or 8 years. One a year, he was saying, he had to sell because we were going to go bust. He was still trousering 7, 8, 9, 10 million pounds a year. So where was we going bust if we could afford to pay him 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever figures you believe? I was absolutely livid. I could feel my blood pressure going through the roof when I heard this nonsense. Does he really think we believe that we have to sell a 40, 50 million pound player every year, or as we go bust? Come on. I was so fuming, absolutely fuming. And they want to put a statue up of him.
I'll bring in Kenny. Hello, Kenny, mate. Sorry about that. It's that I didn't see you below there.
That's all right. Hi, guys. Hi, Russ.
Hello, Kenny.
All right. Nice to meet you, Lawrence.
First of all, going back a bit because you wasn't in earlier, would you pick the same team? I've asked these boys as well. Would you pick the same team for Benfica that you played last night?
Oh yeah. Look, I think the next game is the most important game. And as I tried to say on aftv before, the sound quality was so bad in my video that they couldn't put it up. But as I was saying, the European Cup, it's the Europa League. It's the Europa League will bust. So at the end of the day, you can't take Benfica lightly because I know a lot of Portuguese players. The best Portuguese players are probably playing in our league, in Spain, Italy, and France. But they've still got a conveyor belt with talent coming through in Portugal, and let's face it, we're 10th on the table, so we don't scare no one. So we're not in a position to rest any players. So we've got to go for our best players and take one step at a time. Because if we overcome Benfica, we got the last 16, and then guess who's going to be in the last 16? Leicester, Man United, Spurs. Then we're looking at Ajax, International. That's just 5 clubs. There's even more big clubs as well in that tournament. So really and truly, we're going to have to win it the hard way. So Arteta has to mean business. The league, the thing about it is that it's kind of a double-edged sword for Arteta because everyone knows that ordinarily you're judging your league form, and Arteta, at the end of the day, if he wants to see out his contract and convince people like myself who don't think he's the right man for the job, we're going to say, well, hang on here, you've lost 10 games this season. Wolves and Villa have done a double over you. Leicester won the first game at the Emirates, against Arsenal since 1973 in the away game. So I'm looking at all these minuses, all these negatives, and I'm thinking, well, hang on here. Even if you do win the Europa League, the league which is your bread and butter, you haven't made any sufficient progress. So maybe, just maybe, I'm well within my rights to say, well, hang on here. Thanks for your job. Well done. You got us into Europe. You got us into the Champions League, but I want a more experienced boss to now take us to that next level because that's your level and that's the best you can do. But I'm sure a lot.
That's what they would have done.
Would there be any credence to the point that up until we were getting rid of the clique out of the club, the dressing room, Kenny? Once we got rid of that clique, the performances, and then he put those younger players in, perhaps forced to, because the other players weren't doing as they were told, or they were taking the piss out of him behind his back, or whatever was happening. You think there's credence to that once he had got shot of them, that the results improved and the performances improved, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, the thing about it, right, is that it's actually funny to say that because before Christmas and before the Chelsea game, the actual clique and the poison pen pals or the poison pills were David Luiz and Willian. Yet we now know that they weren't the poison pills. So it changes all the time. Because
I'm thinking more of the Mustafi, Ozil, Xhaka.
Oh, definitely. But the Jack is still there, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had his ties with the clique severed now, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. So you look at Granit Xhaka. Yeah, it's an interesting point. He don't give a monkeys about Arsenal fans. He hates us. As far as we're concerned, we cost him his captaincy because we're the ones who went after him after bad performances. He lost his temper with us, and he's lost the captaincy. But in terms of the clip, my beef with Arteta regarding that is that he was made after the FA Cup final. He was made the team manager, which means he's got overall control over the first team, and he's also got part of the transfer committee, which means he's got control over who we buy and sell. That he gets advice from Edu, but they actually work for him. So all I'm saying is that as soon as you had that control, your first job was to make sure you got them out. You got them out of the club. You don't wait for January where all of a sudden they get a bit desperate. You should have just said, look, Ozil is an offer. We know that Fenerbahce is sniffing. We don't really want you. Tell us how much you want, and we'll pay you, and you could go. We had to, duck and dive, let him run the show, and turn the fans against the club for that to happen. Good thing about that is that the Ozil fans are no longer Arsenal fans, so we can live in peace and quiet without them. But in terms of Mustafi, he actually gave Mustafi a place in the Premiership squad and the Europa League squad. So really and truly, he wasn't getting rid of the clip because that guy wasn't out of the squad. And
there was a few boss side decisions, wasn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm hearing today that they want to give. I don't know if it's true or not. It's a rumor that I want to give Luiz another year because he's good with players apparently.
Yeah, that's a fact. Arteta loves players like David Luiz, and he loves players like Willian. No matter how much people stand in front of the cameras and go on like pork chops, to show how angry. I mean, Jesus Christ, they're the only people who are angry. I mean, we're not as angry as them. It's like there's a competition to be the most angry Arsenal fan when Willian's involved. But Mikel Arteta likes those sort of players.
I'm not anymore. Don't get me involved. I'm not anymore.
Yeah, I hate you saying, Claude, but all I'm trying to say, is that if Mikel Arteta did this earlier and identified who had voted and actually cemented that, who knows? We just don't know football because at the end of the day, he ostracised them, but he still had them within his on the training ground and still influencing players. Yeah. So I think a
lot of this is to do with him learning on the job. Though I think he's done certain things that he wouldn't do again.
That's the problem we've got, Russ, though, isn't it? And Lawrence, the problem we've got is that we're in a situation where
I think all of us here agree that we didn't want Arteta as our number one choice. We all had different choices. I wanted Allegri, proven winner, Simeone or Ancelotti or even Benitez, because they've all won big things wherever they've gone. They've won big trophies. And as an ambitious Arsenal fan, because we were, let's have it right. We moved to the Emirates. We were told we were going to compete. I know a lot of people have heard all this before, but I think it needs reinforcement. These podcasts all the time. We were sold a dream that we were going to compete with Barcelona and Bayern, not Bradford and Barnsley. Barcelona. We were told we were going to. All we're doing is getting sloppy seconds from Chelsea.
We've got
Russell.
Russ, we've got better toilet.
But the thing is, guys, the proof is in the pudding.
We've got better toilets.
If you look at
100%.
Yeah, but you look at this logically, right? George Graham wanted us to move from Highbury. He was the first person who muted this idea because he thought, because of the finances. Arsene Wenger was talking about the level of the pitch. 98, remember we were even thinking about in 98 where the residents weren't happy with it because we couldn't extend Highbury. So this was always going to be in the pipeline. And the thing that I was hearing, I wasn't hearing about competing with Barcelona and Bayern Munich. All I was hearing is that Man United are doing us in terms of like match day capital and match day income, and that we needed to move to a bigger stadium and have match day income. And then I probably ignored the rest because, like a fool, I thought that we're going to be competing with Man United forever. So I didn't look at it logically and think, hang on here, that there may be a time when someone like Chelsea or Man City come along and become make part of the top four or whatever it is now, and that we were going to get kicked out of the big league. I never saw it coming. all I saw was the fact that
I did see it coming. I saw it coming. Not the Manchester City Chelsea thing. That was obvious what was happening there with the amount of money they were pumping in. But what I did see coming 2015-ish was the new TV deal was coming in 2016-17.
Yeah.
And I knew that if we didn't spend big in 2015, after we beaten Villa in that brilliant cup final when we thrashed them, right? That if we didn't spend big then, it was going to end up costing us 300, 400 million pounds. And I don't mean that in missed opportunities for players. I mean in revenue, in not qualifying for the Champions League, league position, prize money, and sponsorship deals. The most important thing, because sponsorship deals come with a winning team. They don't come with a mid-table mediocrity team. So if you want to compete with the best and get more money from your sponsorship deals, you have to win trophies, which is why Kroenke's statement about not coming here to win trophies is the most ridiculous thing for a businessman to say. Absolutely puzzling.
Who was his manager?
Russell, if you remember, Kroenke said at the time, he said he wanted us to become the next Leicester City after they won the league.
Well, we've become that.
Yeah.
Well done.
Hold on a minute.
One of his promises has come true.
Russell. But actually, that's coming to my point on Bernd Leno, who's not. I don't think he's the actual Bernd Leno, but is there any way to get Kroenke out of the club? Right. This is where I stand on it, right? If you got Kroenke out, right, who do you think will come in and buy the club? And is there a guarantee that person will do any different to what Kroenke's doing at the moment, right? Also, what I will say, I don't think it's so much a percentage. Yes, it's down to him. But also, I think, Russell and Lawrence, I think you're not taking into account the poor recruitment as well. Because it's all very well saying Kroenke.
Who employed them, Claude? Who employed them?
Yeah, but that's the problem. What you've got to understand. I understand that, right? The guy knows nothing about football. But then that's our fault for allowing that sort of thing to happen in the first place. Blame Nina Maxwell-Smith. Blame David Dean, all the rest of them that let this happen in the first place. Yeah. Yeah. This
Nigerian Dan Cott is supposed to be making an offer this year.
What I'm trying to say is, if the next one comes in and knows nothing about football, like this guy knows nothing, right? He's going to put his trust on other people to tell him what the recruitment should be. Yeah. So he's given the money, right? We have spent, how much is it? We have spent the same sort of money that Leicester and Liverpool have spent over the years, right? Liverpool, look at Liverpool spending. If you think about it, I'm talking about net spend, yeah? For what we went out and spent 35 million on Xhaka. We could have spent it on Kante. We went and spent 35 million on Mustafi. We could have spent it on Van Dijk. He had an opportunity to get Van Dijk. Wenger, I think, had an opportunity to get Van Dijk at 12 million. So you've got to look at all these things as well. It's not totally down to the owner, if you see what I mean. I understand. Yes, he's the owner, and he should know. He's responsible for bringing them in. But until you get an owner that understands football, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, Russ. Until you find an owner that understands football and understands the right people to put in these recruitment places, as I said, right, you wasn't here, Russ. I said 35 million for Mustafi when we could have got Van Dijk, and Dante Wenger could have got him for 12 million. Yeah, before he got Mustafi in. Yeah, Xhaka, we paid the same money that we could have got Kante for.
Yeah, one of the big mistakes in recruitment is
that money's been given. He gave 70 million for Pepe. It's not his fault that we pay that Raul decided to pay an extra 20 million than what he should have paid, is it?
No, absolutely 100% right. But Kroenke allowed Wenger to do what he wanted for so many years because he was getting him top four. That was his ambition. That was the limit of his ambition, Kroenke. As long as the shekels were still coming in from the Champions League, he just wiped his hands of it, let him get on with it. And it ended up like a car crash, didn't it, in the end? It ended up like a car crash.
Yeah, but he's come in with Wenger's record up until that point was good, wasn't it? Until that point when Kroenke, his record, so he had put a lot of trust.
Claude, can I just interrupt 1 minute? Claude, 1 minute. 1 minute. You said Wenger's record was good. We need to display this myth, all right? Let's look at Exhibit A, i.e. the evidence. Yeah, but Claude, let's look at the evidence first. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah.
You can.
So basically, the situation is, right, if you look, in terms of the top four, in 2006, before we moved from about 2006 up to 2010, the top four was a close shot between Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man United, to the extent that all four clubs had a bigger budget than their rivals. Even Tottenham, who were the richest club outside the Champions League. But if you look at the TV deals we were getting, the wages we were paying our players, in terms of like the amount of fans we were getting the turnstiles during that period, the top four was a closed shop. So he wasn't doing anything extraordinary. We were there because we had better players than most of the 16 teams left outside the top four. So we were always going to get the top four. The only disadvantage we had is that we couldn't compete with the best teams. But apart from that, in terms of the top four, that was a given. And that was given for most of the time, even before
Kenny. When the big money, when the new TV deal money came in, and Leicester won the league, and then all these other teams came up like Wolves. I mean, Brighton have spent very little less than we have in the 3 years that they've been up from the Championship. If you look at their net spend, it's about 39 million as opposed to our 50 million over the past 5 years. So we're 11 million in front of Brighton. This is where the big problem, where we didn't react. We weren't proactive. We were reactive. We haven't sorted out more revenue. We haven't won enough trophies. We haven't got the interest going. We haven't sold enough shirts. But the question originally was, the bloke Berntino asked questions, how do we get Kroenke out? Well, it's very difficult because he's 100% shareholder. So it's virtually impossible unless he gets an offer he can't refuse. Or if all of us just boycott the club.
It's not going to happen.
Two ways.
Russell, that ain't going to happen. Russell, that ain't going to happen.
It won't work. It won't work. It won't work. It won't work.
Of course. But he asked the question.
Yeah, but what I want to say,
there ain't no way of getting him out.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, Russell, but can you guarantee me that the next owner is going to do exactly any different and is going to put the right people in charge of recruitment?
No, I can't.
You can't. Exactly. You can't. No one can guarantee it. And that's
I can hope, but I can't promise it.
I think there's a bigger problem now. I think it's the recruitment. It's absolutely shocking when you look at what we've bought in and people like Gazidis and people like that have been in. Raul, all lining their pockets up, bringing in players to help agents as well. That's another thing that's been done. These people bringing in players into that deal with Pepe when we could have got him for about 50 odd million. We went from a scenario with Wenger where he would not deal with a super agent, no matter what. Right, he wouldn't deal with them, or very rarely did, to a case where all the deals we're doing now with this Drabchian bloke or with Mendia, wherever the other ones are. I'm not really up to speed with them all. But, I mean, Drabchian allegedly has been chased out of Brazil over certain irregularities. So what are we dealing with him for? Yeah. I know.
It's not Arsenal, is it? It's not Arsenal.
We missed out on a lot of quality players because of his rift with agents. Wenger. That is true. That is true. That is a very true fact. Kenny, I want to bring you in on that, actually, on Arsene Wenger. His quote, I don't know if you've seen the clip where he said that all the things that he said. Did you agree with him on any of that?
No, not at all. Not at all. I didn't believe one bit of it because at the end of the day, I'm not sure he's phone, right? It reminds me of when I was doing Latin, and we did things like the Aeneid, like Roman and Greek mythology, and it was just like a scene out of the Aeneid, the sort of rubbish that was coming out of his mouth. As Russ and all the guys said, whilst we're in financial trouble, he was increased his salary. He never took a pay cut. In fact, he got pay increases. As I was saying before, during those times at the Emirates, it's funny that during those times at the Emirates, the top four was a closed shop. So because the top four was a closed shop, we were getting guaranteed Champions League qualification, the TV deals in terms of Sky, and at the time it was It was 1 minute it was ESPN, it was Santanta, all these channels, and even when it was pay-per-view, all favouring the big clubs anyway, especially when it came to like the last 3 months before the end of the season, where there was a scenario for the championship and top four. Most of the big clubs were treasuring the TV deal, so that's a myth. The only player that was forced out was Adebayor, because Adebayor didn't want to leave. He said, "Look, either you go, or we're going to put you in the reserves because we want that money." Nasri left of his own accord because of money and because he didn't want to wait. He didn't want to wait around. Fabregas left because of he didn't want to wait around. Van Persie left for ambition. So when he says Kleb left for more money because he wanted to go Barcelona, and he was even if you don't mind me saying so, whilst we were playing AC Milan, he was negotiating his way out of the club in 2008. Nasri,
Kenny, can I just interrupt you there? Are they football reasons then, the reasons that Fabregas, Nasri, Adebayor and Van Persie left? Are they football reasons? I think Van Persie was a football reason.
So was Fabregas. So was
I wanted to win things.
Nasri's money. Yeah, wanted to win things. So it's a myth. He's just talking absolute rubbish. Yeah. He's talking rubbish. But one word of advice before I go: don't buy his autobiography. If you want a cartoon script, go on your kids' Disney Channel and go and watch the Victoria show, Victoria's Secret, what they call it. You'll have get more sense out of that rubbish, garbage. All that man has been doing since this year. He's been going on desert islands to talk rubbish. Go on a Graham Norton's show. And then go around being in sports and saying, Mea Cooper. He is the Pontius Pilate of football. Washes his hands of the mess that he created, that man. And that's why me, you, and Claude walked out that day, Ross, didn't we? Remember that?
Oh, no, yeah. Russ stayed behind.
I fucking didn't. I was in the pub with you.
He was with us.
Oh, that's right. That's
right. I actually was around a wild woman. I had a wild woman that day because she wanted to stay behind, and I sit next to her, and it caused a row. And I said, "Well, you stay in. I'll stay and applaud him." I went, "No." I've been campaigning to get him out since 2010-11, since the Birmingham final. I said, "No, bye-bye. See you later. I'm out." So she followed me on the train, and I said, I'm getting off at Finsbury Park. I'm going up the pub. I'll see you in there.
Oh, sorry, I've got you mixed up with Judges. He's the one.
Can I tell you that's the first time.
Archie, you know that, didn't you? Oh, Judges. He changed.
Can I tell you? The last home game against Burnley is the only time I've missed an Arsenal game that was shown out here in the States, because I couldn't be bothered to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to watch that circus when he left.
Yeah.
Because I had enough of it.
It's a shame because the first 10 years of his career, he was absolutely brilliant for us. But he sold his soul, didn't he? He sold his soul to the devil, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There was that period where he competed with Man United for then after it slowly went backwards, and it went backwards. As soon as Mourinho entered the stage and everything else, that was it. We went back. which is sad because
hopefully, this is only hope now. Hopefully, we will buy some players in the summer. They will back this manager, whether we want him or not, because I think that the alternative is if we sack this manager and we start again with another one, where is the benefit going to be in that? I just don't see the benefit unless we get a top quality manager. Yeah. And the problem I've got is I can't see anyone coming here with the way it's run and the state of the playing staff. So I desperately want a real top quality manager like Nagelsmann or the fella who just went to Chelsea or Simeone or Ancelotti or whatever, who's already at Everton. Obviously, he's part of a project long-term plan now. So part of me, 100%, wants a new manager, but then another part of me thinks, well, who are we going to get? Eddie Howe? Who are we going to get? Who are we going to get? Logically speaking, who's going to want to come here? And that's the big problem that I'm caught between a rock and an hard place, as my mum used to say.
Yeah.
I wanted a really good manager, and then I've seen this bloke that's give us a trophy, and I see what he's trying to do, but he's got one arm tied up behind his back, and I feel a bit sorry for him. But then again, it's professional sport, so you can't feel sorry, can you? It's ruthless. We've got to be ruthless. And if a better manager comes along, yes, take him.
Look at Chelsea. Look what they've done. He was a legend at. And this guy's not even a legend at Arsenal, but look at Chelsea. Lampard was a legend. Bye-bye.
That is why, Claude, I'm very against having ex-players coming into this, because it's a poison chalice, isn't it, for any player coming in, a poison chalice.
It's like
you want a Tony Adams or a Patrick Vieira or an old player coming. George Graham broke the mould, I'm afraid. When he came in, an ex-player, there was enough time in between him playing and being a manager. A lot of the fans didn't even. Like now, a lot of fans now, the younger ones, don't even know who half of these people are we're talking about.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going back, and I think Kenny was there at the time. I'm not sure if he was there. We was on the concourse, and you're talking about that. And I felt embarrassed because me and Trips come together. We were standing together, and these people they came over to us for I don't know why. To be honest with you, I don't know why they want to get a bloody photo of me or anyway. But anyway, they came over, and Liam Brady's just walking up, and not one person recognised him.
My hero.
You know what I'm saying? I felt really bad. How can you recognise Liam Brady?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A lad just put a comment in the chat. I'm sorry I can't reply on this, but a lad called Chris Davidson. Arsenal can still attract good managers if they was available. All that would they come is nonsense. No, it's not nonsense, because we interviewed loads of managers, Chris, in the last 2 rounds of negotiating a new manager, and a lot of them turned us down, or they were too expensive and wanted too big a transfer kitty. That's fact.
Yeah,
that's fact. We know for a fact that Mourinho was interviewed and was told the transfer kitty.
We had a chance, right? I think it went the wrong way round, right? I think we're a bigger club than Everton. Don't get me wrong, I think we're a bigger club, although they are a big club as well, Everton. But I think we are a bigger club. And there was a choice. I thought when Arteta and Ancelotti were available, I thought we'd get Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah.
And they'd get Arteta. It went the other way. But that's because I think maybe that's the Russian influence that was at our club. Right, this at their club now. They got Ancelotti and we got Arteta.
Which was a disgrace, by the way, Claude. Which was a disgrace. That man owned 35% shares. He owned 1 in every 3 seats in the stadium, and he couldn't get on the board. It was a disgrace.
Yeah, well,
how can you have someone who's investing hundreds of millions of pounds in the club not be on the board of directors? That was another thing that left a really bad taste in my mouth.
You know what gets me?
Arsenal Football Club.
but these same fans that slagging off Kroenke were the ones. I think it was the AST that put the banner, hate, love Arsenal, hate Uzanov. Remember?
Yeah.
Right, they're the ones.
How silly do they all look now?
Yeah, that AST, don't get me started on them, by the way. Do you remember the meetings that they all stood there and they all were told to ask questions, monitor their questions. They weren't allowed to ask this question. What's the point of that shit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, sorry, Lawrence, you were saying something, mate.
Yeah, can I ask you guys a question? I know what the response is going to come from Russell, but do you believe that Wenger is Arsenal's greatest manager?
No, not for me.
Can I say why he's not?
Go on.
Not because he did win a European trophy.
100%.
Exactly. I mean, my argument is.
Managers that did.
Yes,
I've seen online Arsenal fans saying he is the greatest manager we've ever had at the club. My response to that is bollocks, because if he's the greatest manager we've had, then what about Herbert Chapman, who won 3 league titles in a row, something Wenger never did? Bertie Mee and George Graham both won us a European trophy, which he never did either.
But before our time,
people want a statue.
Before our time, the greatest manager is obviously Chapman, because he took us from absolutely nothing to a super club in the space of 7 or 8 years. And unfortunately, he died very, very young, didn't he?
Pneumonia.
Yeah. And before anyone
So
says it, no, I wasn't there when he was.
Well, you look old enough, But it just makes my blood boil that people keep going on saying, "Oh, we were nothing until Wenger came along, and we should build a statue in his honour and have a stand named after." I know.
Yeah. At the end of the day, he was a very, very good manager for 10 years. For 10 years, a very, very good manager. One of our best.
Yeah.
But the last 10 years, it's ruined it for me.
I also think in Europe, it was fine. Even when we were at our peak in Europe, the players he had, 2004, 2002, should have done much better in the Champions League. Much better than they did. They should have done much better.
He can't coach. He's not a good coach. He can't coach, though. All right, I know you got Russell and Lawrence may not agree with me, but I've said this to coach loads of times. Arsenal, pound per pound, over the 9 years, George Graham's our best manager since Herbert Chapman. Because if you look at George Graham, I can guarantee you, and you're not allowed to guarantee things. If George Graham had the teams that Arsene Wenger had from about 1998 to 2004, we would have won one of those European Cups, right or wrong. If we had George, in terms of his tactics and his formations, and no, Arsene Wenger was a coaching myth. Arsene Wenger was a motivator rather than a coach. He had good players who were managers in the field, like Adams, Bold, Vieira, Petit, all managers in the field. Henry became a manager in the field, leaders, and so was Dennis Bergkamp. Ashley Cole could have been that manager in the field, but we got messed about over his wages. But if you look at it, Arsene Wenger didn't need to coach those teams between 98 and 2004.
Yeah. If you remember rightly, Kenny, the coach of the football team for a lot of those years was a fella called Pierre-Emerick. He was the actual coach. He was the brains behind the actual tactics. Yeah. Am I right? Am I wrong? He got booted out in about 2016.
Definitely.
It was his mentor, wasn't it? Mentor.
And that's the mentor. But that's the thing about Arsene Wenger. It's like you've got to realise is that it's all about generations. Like obviously we're calling this an old school show, but there's younger fans who are going to think that we've committed some sort of sacrilege and we need to be stoned.
It's all about
something like Bethlehem, something. Like Jesus of Nazareth, because of what we're saying. That's the thing. But we're going to be seen as dinosaurs and ungrateful old bastards because we don't worship the temple of Arsene Wenger.
But to be fair, I'm just sort of scanning the comments here, Kenny. I'm just scanning the comments, and a lot of people are agreeing with, he'd had his time in 2010. He'd lost the plot, etc. So there's a lot of people are saying that in the comments. So, and I don't know how old these people are, but a lot of them aren't as old as us. I can guarantee it.
Do you remember '98? Right when we lost. I'm going to go back here, boys. I'm going to go back to remember 1998 when we lost to Blackburn. I think Sherwood got one of the goals, and we lost 3-1. And they had a meeting, didn't they? The players weren't happy. And they weren't happy to wait, and they decided to take it on themselves. Adams and co decided to, because we had a lot of leaders in that team. Yeah. They decided to take it upon themselves that we want to play this way, and that way, and they just got on with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what. And then
Tony Adams famously said, didn't he? Don't listen to the manager. I'll tell you what to do when you're on the pitch. Because he was his captain on the pitch, he was his tactician on the pitch. So don't listen to what he's saying. This is what you're going to do.
Roy Keane, wasn't he? Right, Roy Keane for Manchester United as well.
Yeah.
Proper leadership.
And we haven't had that talk against the. That's why we've had all this 5 captains bollocks for like the last so many years. I want to see a proper club captain, someone who represents the club, and someone who is worthy of the title. And I haven't seen someone worthy of the title since Vieira left, to be honest.
What Kieran Tierney
worries me. I'll tell you why he worries me. He gets too many injuries for me. He's getting too many injuries. I don't know what it is. Something's not right there. I don't know why he's picking up a lot of injuries to get a more sustained spell in the team. And
that's another one of my bugbears, Claude, is the fact that a player like Thomas Partey can come from Atletico Madrid and he's been there for 5 years, had 3 weeks off in 5 years. He comes to us and he's played about 4 games. He's been injured all the time. What the hell's going on?
Exactly.
What the hell's going on with our training regime? What's going on with our training pitches? I said this to Kevin Campbell on another podcast. I said to him, there's something drastically wrong with our training pitches. He poo-pooed it. He went, come on. He said, don't be silly. They're state of the art. But there's obviously something not right, isn't there?
I love Kevin, but he's very, very, very favourable with he won't say a bad word. But anyway, I love Kevin Campbell because actually, while I've been here, he's been sending me some really nice messages and.
Listen, Kevin's an Arsenal man through and through.
He's a lovely guy, but I think he doesn't want, maybe not to upset the club.
He don't want to rock the boat. I can understand that.
I understand that. Yeah. But listen, I was thinking about that game. You remember the players we had in that final against Parma, where we were in the Cup Winners' Cup final, and they were one of the best sides to go. All right, they weren't in the Champions League.
No,
they were one of the best sides. They won the top sides in Europe, and we went in there. I can't remember the midfield we went in that game, and we pulled it off. I don't think Wenger could ever pull a result like that off. Never in a million years. Never.
Yeah.
The players we had then and pull that result off that he pulled. That's why he stands out to me as our best.
Who was in midfield that day, Lawrence? Tell us, because he's a Mr. Statman. He can tell us who was in midfield.
Oh, I went to that game. I flew from Los Angeles on the Friday to London, and then the following Monday I caught a coach outside Highbury that took me all the way to Copenhagen in 48 hours. I think David Hillier was in midfield.
Yeah,
Stephen Morrow, wasn't it Morrow?
Ian Morrow, Selly. Ian Selly.
Jensen missed the game, didn't he? He missed that game, Jensen. I think he didn't play that.
Yeah, because the Parma battered us for the whole game.
But
the only thing I remember is the goal.
No, but the resilience of the team to hang in there, the resilience.
Oh, that was probably one of the longest. longest matches I've ever watched. It was just, it was like 70 minutes.
Seaman played out of his. Seaman had the game of his life that night.
Yeah.
And do you remember in the '87? And I'm being honest. And in 1987, the League Cup run when we played Spurs, they were a better team than us. You know, they were a better team.
Yeah.
They were a better team than us. He tactically won that over. I mean, we lost that first leg at Highbury.
David was their coach.
Yeah, I thought it was all over when because
Clive Allen scored.
Clive Allen scored at Highbury. Then he scored again.
First leg.
If you remember, they were announcing cup final tickets, weren't they? At half time.
Yeah.
And then we pulled it to 2-1, and then the toss of the coin, weren't it? And they tossed the coin, and they got the
home leg. Yeah.
And even in that day, in the league, they were a better team than us. Let's not get away with it. Let's not get.
They had fantastic players then, didn't they?
That was George all over. He pulled that result,
brilliant.
and then he beat Liverpool in the final. You know, when Rushy scores, no one wins. You know that record that when Rushy scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in the Gunners pub, and all we were singing that night. 1-0 down, 2-1 up. We fucked Rushy's record up. I can never forget it. Oh my God. I mean, those were the old days. I can never forget that when it meant something. The League Cup meant something, but it was great.
Any trophy,
1989 as well.
I don't give a monkey what anyone says. Any trophy is worth winning. If you win a final, you win it.
Yeah.
Do you think we would have won? Do you think we would have won at Anfield in '89 if Wenger was in charge?
No chance. No chance.
No,
I don't know whether
you
would think.
No way.
That was just sheer willpower from George Graham. Just sheer willpower. So we are going to go there and we are going to win 2-0. And this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah. To clever to go in at half time, 0-0 be. So that's okay. We'll go 0-0 because in fact, if we'd have gone too early with that goal,
they would have
brought them out. That would have brought them out earlier, wouldn't it? But because it was 0-0, they didn't know whether to come or go, did they? So it was it's so tactically clever.
When you think they were 19 points behind us, weren't they? 19 points behind and they came back to overtake us.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
They had a really good team, didn't they, Liverpool? And a minute ago, I'm thinking, how can we come this close? How can we come this far and we've blown it?
Yeah.
Them games against Wimbledon and Derby. We were just...
And David Pleat said in the commentary,
that man have us over. Every time he played against us, he scored that bastard. He was like a fool in the
and David Pleat said in the commentary, it will be poetic justice if Arsenal win tonight, but Liverpool win the league.
Yeah,
he would.
You know.
And that's what it felt like. It felt.
So that's because the Hillsborough goal, wasn't it?
I felt numb inside. And all of a sudden, when he broke through, and the beer just went everywhere.
Russell, I'm going to ask you boys now, each one, and be honest with me. With 5 minutes to go, did you think we're going to do it? Russell first.
Lawrence will tell you, I'm the biggest pessimist there is, and I didn't think we could do it. I honestly didn't think we could do it. I thought it was a bridge too far. I thought we'd blown it. We were knackered, and we were going to a ground where they hadn't lost for donkey's years, especially by 2 goals. I honestly thought it was a bridge too far, which makes it all the sweeter. Don't it? When you're crowing, have a mob up the road. When you're crowing, like in 2 months into a season, you're going to win the league when you've won 8 games or something. That is why it makes it all the sweeter when we do that sort of thing. When we don't really think we can do it, and we do it, we're a completely different breed to that other lot, ain't we?
Yeah.
We're never crowing.
100%.
We never fucking start celebrating to the fat ladies singing. That is the difference.
Yeah. But what about you? What about you, Lawrence? Did you feel that we were going to do it?
Funny enough, in those days, I was like Ty. I was very optimistic. I was very hopeful. I did have the headphones or the woolly hat.
I hope you didn't do your blind date right? I would do blind dates
No,
like
no. No, but I felt we had a chance. But I had my doubts at half time. I thought we may have blown it. But when Alan Smith scored that goal early in the second half and Liverpool tried to get the ref to change his mind, I thought we had an opportunity. Yeah, unbelievable. I was behind the goal where fans were. And the moment when Mickey Thomas burst in, it was like, you know, when you watch a movie, the ending of a movie, when it's in normal speed one time and then it goes into slow motion, because that ball took forever to go in the back of the net while I was there. And as I said, when the goal went in, I was at the top and I was down the front within 15 seconds. It's like, unbelievable. I got literally pushed down the front. Greatest weekend of my life, that weekend.
fantastic. On a Friday, weren't it, as well? On a Friday night. It wouldn't happen now because everyone would have to play on the same day in the last game. But Kenny, what about you? Did you think we were going to do it 5 minutes ago?
Well, the thing is, my heart kind of sank because we had a chance. We had a chance with it before that, before the 5 minutes when Mickey Thomas went through, and when he went through, you kind of look at it, you're thinking, right, please, 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 and then it was like he was thinking too much because you had the couple of players. I think it was Nickel and Houghton, and he thought, hang on it, the angle he took it way too early. I thought that's it. You know what? Congratulations to the team, Arsenal, because I think it was an injustice that Liverpool won it. I was bitter and twisted, and I thought, right, nothing. But then again, when I saw that last attack, I thought it's either now or never, now or never. And then when he did score the goal, I went absolutely berserk. This is how bad it was. I went berserk, ran around down the house, left the front door open, ran around the estate, and then went back in the house again. When the final whistle went, I ran out to go to the neighbouring houses, and I left my front door open. And when you leave it open on one of the in Frisbee Park, that's an incident in itself. But that day has to be the best day of my life. And I look at it now, right? I'm not denigrating anything Arsene Wenger done, all right? But that surpasses, for me, the doubles and the Invincibles. That was the best moment of my life in terms of being an Arsenal fan because I didn't see it coming.
I've never been as proud.
The question...
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been as proud, Kenny, as I was of the boys that night to do that.
Same here.
Do you know what?
That was the best proudest moment of my life.
The biggest achievement by this, because it was that was the best Liverpool side I've ever seen.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. To do it at Anfield as well.
To achieve that, I think. You know what? Yeah. I'd even put that. Even everyone goes on about Invincibles. I'd even put that above the Invincibles.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah, me too.
I told you,
Claude, that night in 1989, we could win 5 Champions Leagues in the next 10 years. Nothing will ever surpass that night in 1989 for me.
No, I totally agree.
Same here for me. Best night of my life. Best night of my life.
Fantastic.
You know the thing about it, right? Is that second to that was Lawrence, the game you went to, and the game a lot of us were attending as well. Copenhagen was up there as well.
Mate,
as you were saying before, when we played, Parma. Remember they had players like Roberto Musi, Apolloni, Brody,
Zola,
Asprilla, Zola, Pagliuca. Yeah, you know what I mean. They'd seasoned internationals. And actually, you know, like when you look at Red Bull Salzburg and Red Bull Leipzig, well, the way Parma was formed was a bit like that. Someone who had the Italian milk company just decided, let me just buy into a football club, and all before you know it, they were like the Leipzig of their day, but they had really good players. So for me, that's second. But you know what? I ain't gonna lie. The Champions League final, even though we lost it, I still got my ticket in Paris. I still got me, my Burberry hat, and that was a great time because I was just happy to be there. But when we lost to Barcelona, it's still. But I ain't gonna lie, Barcelona, Paris 2006 still hurts to this day. It's still, I still feel it in my heart. It's because I look at it, I'm thinking that could have been the best day of my life as an Arsenal supporter.
Well, player off for me.
It wasn't all George Graham. It was Wenger as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that night in Copenhagen, it was as if they had taken the whole of North London and planted it in Denmark. I mean, all you could see was red and white all over the town. Unbelievable.
All you could hear was 1-0 to the Arsenal. That's how we first got it. You know, go West song.
Yeah.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
Kenny, didn't you?
Yeah.
You knew. You just knew that the other team was like that. As soon as you got that goal, the other team just went like that. They knew they was in for a right battle, and they were to get that equaliser, which they very rarely did. It was a battle.
Do you think if George Graham was in charge that night in Paris, we would have won the Champions League?
Yeah, quite possible.
The thing about it is that, in the interest of fairness, but in the interest of fairness, Lehmann got sent off, so we'll never know. Because if you think about it, our performances before we got to final in Paris, we were the ones who were stingy defensively, and we all basically had a system where we were hitting teams on a counter attack, home and away. So if we had 11 men, we might have done a Copenhagen in '94 because it was on. So we just never know.
Yeah. What about if there was a matchup between the Invincibles and George Graham's 1991 title-winning team, where we only lost one game all season? Who would win?
Well, the 91 team smashes the Invincibles. 91 team smashes them. Better defensively. And they had Tony Adams in it. Smashes them. The best teams I've ever seen at the Arsenal is Wenger's 2002 double-winning side, the 91 side, then the Invincibles. Arsene Wenger's team in 2002 was the best team and squad I've ever seen. They had everything in terms of, like, they had fighters, ball players, leaders, every type of football teams wanted us to play, we could play. That for me is the best squad. And then it's Graham's 91 team. Before my time, but I was too young to remember. I don't remember because I was too young at the time. But the one that set it all off, and they reckon it was a really great atmosphere that night, was the Fairs Cup win against Anderlecht. They reckon it was a fantastic atmosphere. I was born.
I was there.
You was there, Lloyd? They reckon. I told you. Yeah, that's right. I
can still see Frank McClintock being lifted up by all the Arsenal fans who invaded the pitch, where he's holding the trophy, being chaired off the pitch. That was unbelievable.
Yeah. When you think, I was only about 12 then. I think I didn't start going until I was about 14, 15.
Yeah.
That was a big gap, wasn't it, between us winning something? We had all the 60s really where we didn't win anything up until then, and then we had most of the 50s as well. A bit like when we won the league in '89. We hadn't won the league for 18 years, and as Kevin Campbell said, 17 years now since we won a league.
But wasn't
the same thing happened? The same thing happened back then when we'd done the double in '71. Instead of reinforcing the squad, we hardly bought anyone. We bought Alan Ball and then Brian Kidd.
I think Alan Ball came the season after. No, he came the season after the double, didn't he? Alan Ball, I'm sure, came the season after the winning.
Yeah, Alan Ball came the season after we did the double.
Marinello as well.
Yeah, he bought Marinello. Barely played for us. Yeah, Marinello was going to be the next George Best.
Yeah,
I remember.
What's that? Alex Cropley, John Matthews,
Johnny Matthews.
Yeah.
Terry
Mancini.
Terry
Mancini.
Yeah.
Terry Mancini, funny, yeah, I remember when I was a kid. I remember him just about 76, isn't it? Yeah, Camden boy, isn't he?
And
He's more like QPR than
my
Arsenal.
brother's wife was Richie Powling's cousin, and I actually see him score a goal at Wolves away. I think it was about 76, 77. And I think he hurt himself equalising in the last 5 minutes. Wolves were top of the league at the time. We drew 1-1. And he was never the same afterwards. But he was a really good player. And he's actually Liam Brady's best mate at the club. And I managed to talk to Liam at the fans forum last year before the lockdown happened. And actually mentioned that I was sort of related by marriage to Richie, and he was absolutely over the moon that I mentioned him. He said he was his best mate when he was at Highbury, and his career was curtailed unfortunately because of injury.
You remember get headbutted by Kenny Burns in the back of the
talking about Liam Brady
against Nottingham Forest?
Do you remember that season, double season when Stoke destroyed us 5-0? Was it Conroy and George Easton was among the goal scorers? If I remember right, they absolutely hammered us 5. Really, that year, I thought
George Easton was played for us.
Yeah.
Leeds were the stronger team that year, but we just somehow won it. I don't know how we done it, but they were the stronger team, weren't they? Leeds, they were a really good side.
Leeds were a fantastic team in the early 70s. Absolutely fantastic team, but they did the same as a lot of good teams.
Late 60s as well.
Yeah, they did the same as a lot of teams. Kenny. They didn't invest. They didn't invest, and they kept hold of Madeley and Reaney and Cherry for just that little bit too long. I remember us having a League Cup game at Highbury one night. We stuffed them 7-0.
That's right.
Remember that, Lawrence?
Yeah, Brady got 2 penalties.
Yeah. We absolutely annihilated them. Absolutely brilliant football. We were all buzzing that night because they were a really good side, but they'd just come to the end. And the same as the Arsenal team, 71, they let so many players go so quickly and never replaced them. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
George Graham, isn't it? Man United.
Yeah. The biggest heartbreaker, in the old days was when we've done all our effort to get to those 2 finals, the Cup Winners' Cup, winning in Turin, beating Liverpool at that time. Liverpool were
1980. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And we lost the fight. We lost to West Ham when Trevor Brookins never heads the ball, hardly scores in the final, and then we lost the final on penalty.
If any of the younger fans, if any of the younger fans are interested, there's a book by a fella called David Fenson who's on Twitter. It's called 1980: The Forgotten Season, and me and Lawrence we talk about it.
You know the thing about. Do you know that season? That was when I first started. That's when I first. Well, your mum was saying.
What heartbreaking year that
was. In terms of my memories.
Yeah.
But in terms of my Arsenal memories are the Terry Nil years where we had the 7 Irishmen. Remember the 7 Irishmen? Name all the 7 Irishmen. Yeah. Go on, Lawrence.
Pat Jennings, Sammy Nelson, Pat Rice, John Devine. Liam Brady,
Frank
Stapleton, David O'Leary.
David Cork, wasn't it? Was it not?
One more.
Oh, I know Pat Jennings.
John Devine.
Yeah, he said
John Devine.
Yeah, he said that.
Oh, you said John Devine. Yeah, you know the
Yeah. I said John Devine.
You know what's happened? I used to go to a school around the corner from Highbury called Christ the King in Tolleton Park around the Toll Road, and it was like I think that's when you decided the teams to support, and everyone's telling me, "Oh yeah, you've got to support Arsenal." Because I said, "Why is that?" It's an Irish club, and we're Irish, we're your mates, so you've got to support Arsenal as well. I'm going to support Arsenal not because you lot are Irish, it's because it's my local club. But if you look around the 80s, I think when you talk about it, right, everyone sort of looks at the Terry Nil's years and they talk about that season 1980 where Brian Talbot played in every game that season because we played 70 games. Brian Talbot was an ever present during that season. And if you look at it, go a couple of years afterwards, after 81, when we finished third against Aston Villa, we went in kind of decline because that's when Spurs became strong. But if you look at the foundations that George Graham inherited in '86, it was Terry Neal who let those foundations. Rocastle, Niall Quinn, all products of the youth team under Terry Neal and Don Howe. So when people are a bit critical of Terry Neal, they got to remember that he did leave us George Graham, a very, very good youth players who went on to great success under George, especially in '87 and '89 as well. So I think Terry Neal.
You talk about the two managers, me and Neil, right? But I think the biggest influence was Don Howe. Without them two,
brilliant coach.
I think
brilliant defensive coach.
Don Howe was the main reason. When he left, in fact, if you realise, when Don Howe left after the double year, didn't he? And he went and went
West Bromwich champion, didn't it?
We never looked back. We went backwards after that, didn't we?
Yeah.
There we go.
But I think what we did with Don, I think what we did with Don Howe, we didn't give him enough money. So when he got the job in December '83, one of the things we did is that he inherited Charlie Nicholas. He tried to get his style of play, and I think one of John Howe's big mistakes is when he got John Cartwright involved in '85, because I think that's when the football got a bit boring under Don, and I think we got restless, and I think the board went behind his back and tried to interview Terry Venables, and that's when Don got a wind of it, and that's when he resigned. And I think because we could have had Terry Venables at Arsenal, which a lot of at the time we were going, El Tel, great job at QPR, and he's doing a great job at Barcelona.
Kenny, I heard different on that. I heard that there was another big argument between him and David Dean on the pitch at the Luton game. Was it the replay? And Don Howe wanted a neutral ground, and Dean wanted to toss up the coin, and we lost the toss of the coin, and we went. And then the weekend
that's one of it. But I think
the weekend after he resigned, after the Coventry game, we played the Coventry game.
And he resigned. April, innit? Around March. Yeah, but that was cool. That's the time when we were interviewing Terry Venables behind his back.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of arguments there. And he wanted that replay to be on a neutral ground. He didn't want that toss up of the coin. If you remember the Luton game, we got
David.
In the replay, didn't we? I think it was 3-0. We got done on that.
3-0 at their ground, didn't it?
Yeah,
David Dean had a massive influence during that period. Peter Hillwood. He didn't want to sack Terry Neal in '83 because he was scared. It was David Dean who was the majority shareholder who said get rid of him. And David Dean was very influential in terms of getting the Don Howe situation. And he was the one who pushed for George Graham to get sacked. David Dean fell out a lot of our managers, except for Arsene Wenger.
Do you remember that Avenel Road after the Walsall game? Everyone was. I think it was
there. Yeah.
Everyone was packed.
Yeah.
It was not. It was Hillwood out as well. Hillwood. They wanted Hillwood out. They wanted Terry Neal out. But that was so loud. You know what I mean? We
played. They actually had a meeting, didn't they, with the fans at Beachmere Road after that.
I think we had
all the supporters club had a meeting with them.
We had proper protesters, people that protest, but not like this lot of them. Do you remember you was there?
He had to go, though, Claude.
No, that's what I'm saying. Proper protest got him out. But under Wenger, when I remember Russell, I don't know if you was there. There was 20 of us about to go on a march. 20 people about out. 20 people.
Yeah. It was pissing down the rain, wasn't it? It was pissing down the rain. We were playing Everton or something. And we were outside the old Marble.
That's right, yeah.
And there was a few lads. I think Rob, Double Gunner off Twitter was there. There's a few people. These two lads from the Derbyshire Midland Post or something was there.
Red Ken was there.
Red Ken was he there? I don't think I knew him.
Red Ken was there. Afsal. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Red Ken was there. Afsal. You know Joe Tester? She was there.
Yeah.
Quite a few people were sat. I used to sit behind me with. There were 20 of us. And all of a sudden, and Mark King was there as well.
Yeah.
And I went up to the press.
I said, "What do you want, boys?" So I said, "You're not going to put this in the paper, right? That only 40s turned up. I mean, what's going on?" I said, it's pouring with rain. I said, and there's been a rumour that we're signing this player. Same old thing. We're signing this player, or something's up, and something's going to be announced.
What?
And then
We signed Aubameyang. Yeah. It's when we signed Aubameyang.
Exactly the same as the week you thing was finished with Pepe signing. Exactly the same thing. And that's what, when someone said, what can we do to get rid of this regime earlier? You've got to unite. You can't do this with groups of 30 and 40. You've got to all unite, and you've got to, when you're at the ground, start singing "We Want Kroenke Out."
It's amazing how many people on Twitter
can I just say one thing?
protesting, and how many people actually turn up.
Yeah. People that care, people that really care. That's the ones that turn up.
Yeah. Russ, 2 seconds. 2 seconds, Russ. I was going to say, and this is for you, Lawrence, as well. The problem we've got, the major problem we've got, and you ain't going to like what I'm going to say, the biggest problem we've got is that over the years, if you look at the football history in the last 10 years, owners tend to do the Frank Boff when the club is in financial trouble or there's a relegation. Now, the problem we got is the club isn't in financial trouble and there's no relegation. So even if we try and force through a protest, we know Kroenke's got the money. What they're going to do is do what they did with to shut us up in 2019. Pepe, the year before, over Wenger, was Aubameyang. So they're going to play those sort of tactics. Another thing as well we got, and the problem we have is that we've got a lot of fans, and I say this with great respect to our fans, we've got a lot of nice fans who basically are not ready for the revolution that all four of us are ready. We want a revolution, right? We've seen what Chelsea have done. Abramovich knows fuck all about football. But what Abramovich does, you know the saying in business, I never went to Harvard, but I employ people who went to Harvard. That's what he did with Chelsea. In terms of like the guy from Man United, what's the guy from Man United that he poached? Peter Kenyon. Yeah, he poached Peter Kenyon. He's got the best people. He's got the best people behind the scenes, and now he's got Granit Xhaka. He's got Petr Cech, who's a football man. Plus, he's got basically the money we should be spending is not just on players. It's basically going up to Abramovich and saying, "Look, what did you do?" And what he's going to say, go and get people from Harvard, get the best people possible, and then after that, then you get the manager, because the manager buys into the fact that you've got the best team behind the scenes, and then he will say, "Where's my budget?" And then once you get the budget,
it's a chicken and an egg, ain't it, Kenny?
To the manager.
It's a chicken and an egg, ain't it, Kenny? With Abramovich and with Sheikh El Mansour, they've put the money in from the start, and now they're reaping the rewards because they've got businesses that are worthy of the name. They didn't get the money first, though, Russ. But the money didn't go on the players first. It was basically behind the scenes, the training ground. If you look at Carrington now, if you look at, and the fact of the matter is that their youth team, they've got the best boys in Manchester North West. They're killing Man United. You look at Chelsea. Well, they've got the training. When you go to the Etihad, Kenny, when you see the regeneration that family's put into the round of that ground, isn't it, Claude? It is unbelievable. It's like a little mini city on its own.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's not just a football club. They've invested into the local community as well.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I mean.
And that's what. But you look at Chelsea. Remember when I was at university, we used to play. I used to go to University of London, and at one of the pitches, all the pitches were owned by the university, and Chelsea's ground used to be owned by Imperial College, and that was Hayes and Harlington. That was the biggest shit, however. Abramovich went behind and says, right, this is shit. He went and bought Cobham. He invested in Cobham. And then he's invested in his youth. So basically, he's made sure he hasn't just invested in players and get the best people behind the scenes. He's invested in the whole thing to the extent that Chelsea are always going to be strong because he's managed to invest in the facilities and the youth team.
We've done it in reverse, though, Kenny.
Whoever comes in after Kroenke, or maybe Kroenke changes his mind, they've got to do that.
Kroenke's turned up. He's turned up. The training ground's already built. The stadium's a brand new stadium. And he's virtually taken us backwards to before when Wenger was there. He's actually wound the clock back. We're now in a worse state playing staff-wise than we were before Wenger got there. He's got no redeeming features for me, Kroenke. He is an absolute tool. He's as Vince McMahon said, the WWE wrestling bloke. He said he should be arrested, Kroenke, for impersonating a good businessman because he's not a good businessman. And and hopefully we'll see when the good people of St. Louis take him to court in October. There's a massive big lawsuit going on that he gets absolutely hammered. I can't wait for October.
That'll hinder us even more, wouldn't it?
Well, no, because hopefully he'll give him a big, massive cash flow problem and he'll have to sell us. That's what I'm hoping. I'm just clutching.
Yeah. But the only thing I'm worried about is who he sells to and where we go from there. We don't want. It's all very well saying sell. We could get an even worse owner.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, what's happened to this Nigerian who's supposed to be buying him out?
Yeah, but he's but there's a lot. See, a lot of these people, they all talk behind the scenes and they all talk. I remember who's not going on about wanting to own the club, and then he disappeared, didn't he? He never really pushed, did he? He never gave him, look, I'll pay this, I'll give you this money.
No, Claude, I think you're actually wrong there. He offered to give the club £200 million interest-free loan to buy the players we needed, which we could have paid him back. But he wanted a seat on the board. That was the condition because
he should have gone to look. I'll buy your share out to Kroenke, and then there's nothing anyone else could do on the board. Once he's bought Kroenke's share,
he did try, Claude. He did try. He offered $1.6 billion.
Don't get lost, then, can't they? They can't say he's got control of the club. I never understood that why he had 35% and he wasn't allowed on the board. That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And he wanted to put some, but he would have made Kroenke look bad, wouldn't it?
He's got more. He had more.
200 million into the club.
What's more ridiculous? He had more shares than Hillwood, and yet he couldn't be on the board. That's ridiculous.
No, it was a disgrace. It was a disgrace.
But
Hillwood.
It was a shutout, though. It was a shutout.
Yeah, it was a shutout.
Yeah. You're not welcome here. As Hillwood famously said, I
keep hearing David
exactly.
I keep hearing this about David Dean, how much praise he gets, and all this and that. But he was the one that invited him on in the first place.
Yeah, he was.
Wasn't it? He was the one that got him in the first place.
And he soon realised he'd made one hell of a cock up.
Yeah.
You just said it. Look, Dale Square. He offered Stan $1 billion. I think you find he offered him £1.6 billion at the time. He up to £1.6 billion, and Greedy Stan didn't take it. I bet Greedy Stan wishes he had took it now because the club makes a loss every year, and it's probably not worth $1 billion now.
Anyway.
We're gonna make bigger losses with COVID-19. We're gonna make every football club's gonna make a loss, and we're gonna be the biggest casualties because you know we're laying people off because we've got no work for them. So again, it's one of those things is that we need to get. I don't know what your views are in the
interesting how much money spent in the summer.
It seems the only thing that's going to allow to go at Noble is a jab. It's a jab, and it's getting one of these. It's going to get us back. It might save our club because we get more people down the turnstiles. Because I don't think it's sustainable.
But
next season,
everyone is now with all this deadwood gone. Everyone is expecting big signings in the summer now. Are we going to get these big signings? See, there's no excuse now. Is
the only
all these players, all the wage bill has been cleared. They've paid it all off.
Well, Claude, I was reading online that we've signed this kid from Portugal called Tiago Thomas. He's 18 years old. We're signing him in the summer from Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, but is that?
I don't know if you heard that.
But is that going to take us? That's long term, isn't it? We've got our own young players coming through. Is that going to stop our young players that are coming through at the moment getting through? Is that going to stop a Smith Rowe coming through? We need experienced players. It's no good getting 18-year-olds. We've got that. Already. We've already got the youth. Now let's go out and get experience because at the moment,
Yeah, what we offer them, Claude?
The youth, all right, are controlling things and doing everything that the experienced players should be doing. And that's wrong, isn't it? It's the youth are leading the experienced players, where the experienced players should be leading the youth.
Yeah. We were saying that the other day, weren't we, Lawrence? We were saying exactly the same thing, that it's taken the exuberance of youth to actually drag the older professionals kicking and screaming games.
And what it's doing, up until before yesterday, what it was doing, it was dragging the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe down to the level of Willian and Luiz.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway,
another thing is, everyone is in a mess with this pandemic, and everyone's struggling financially. And it's not just Arsenal. I mean, our board will have you think that we're the worst off club in the world and we can't afford to buy any players. But every single football club is in dire financial straits. And if you're ruthless, this is the time when you can pick up some bargains.
Barcelona.
Exactly, they're skint.
Yes.
They are absolutely on their knees. Get in there. Put a few
Leon, what about Leon?
You'll get it back in Spain in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That's what businessmen
in the Championship. Why are we snobby? Why do we have to get these European players like Benzuela?
I 100% agree, Claude. There's plenty of good Championship players that will improve our team.
Let's not forget where we got Dixon. We got Dixon from Stoke City, Bowl from Stoke City in the old days, isn't it? What can't we do that again?
Ian Allenson from Colchester.
Perry Groves.
Perry Groves.
Jimmy Carter.
Brian Marwood, Sheffield Wednesday.
Brian Marwood. No, but I'm saying they were
Perry
good.
Groves watches this show, I bet.
Now there are good players around, and I say, a lot of those clubs are in dire financial straits, and it's a shame. It's a dog-eat-dog world. We've got to go and pounce and make hay while we can. This is the opportunity to get back a little bit of what we've missed out on in the last 2 or 3 years.
Ian Allison remains a legend for what he done against Spurs that night in the League Cup, mate. He remains a legend for me.
100%. And he was our top scorer in 85. He was our top scorer in 85.
Martin Hayes, another player, underrated, very underrated. But he was top. I think he was one of the top scorers in the season we won the league. Weren't he one of the top scorers?
Yeah, I found everybody is just talking about
87 in the league. When we won the League Cup, we got 19 league goals.
That's it. There we go. Yeah.
Does anyone know about this player Hakimi from Inter Milan? I've not watched a lot of Italian football recently, so I'm not too sure. Is he any good? Someone just put it up in the chat.
You know what? I'd rather we get a player that is used to the Premier League. I think we could go and put our asses out, and they could fail quite easily.
Yeah.
Ceballos, what's Ceballos done since he come here?
Well, there's another one, not our player, but Ziyech at Chelsea. He's a real disappointment, ain't he?
Having said that,
and Werner, Timo Werner.
Yeah,
he hasn't produced good.
I never forget.
Yeah,
I defend Robert Perez for 9 months because I knew he'd be coming good. I remember all these people were slagging him off every home game when we used to go in this conservative club in up the road. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the road, but it's that. Anyway, we was going in there, and every time we was going in there, they were going, "Oh, even McGoldrick is better than him." And then eventually, towards April, he started that game against Spurs. He started getting into the rhythm of it all, and we all what a player he turned out to be. So you've got to be very careful with players, especially with foreign players when they come in. Some players take a while to adapt, but we'll see. We can see. But Werner's another one.
He was crap when he first came over to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Bergkamp took a while to get going, didn't he?
Dennis
when he first came over.
Yeah.
Dennis
Yeah, but
Bergkamp was. I remember when Bergkamp was that Southampton game.
Henri.
Skill Archie, he took a while to get going as well, didn't he?
Still not.
Yeah.
Hey, Russell, it takes you a while to get going.
Do you remember Henri's first game against Leicester?
Yeah. You've got to laugh, haven't you? You've got to laugh because you cry otherwise.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
People doubting Bergkamp's transfer at the time because it was taking him a while. But the only one that did come in, I think he came in really well and started straight away was Overmars. Overmars came in and he was,
what a player he was. Oh.
Yeah. And Petit is another one.
Yeah.
But
Vieira was like instant, wasn't he?
Didn't Petit start his career as a left back, if I'm not mistaken?
Centre half, wasn't he?
I'm sure someone started as a left back at one time. He was back.
What about Sylvan Wiltord?
Yeah, isn't that? But you know what? He was a good squad player. You know, he was very vital to us.
Very quick, very direct.
Yeah.
What would Sylvan Wiltord be worth today?
You know, you take Wiltord now, wouldn't you?
Does he remind you of Lacazette?
Would you take Eddie in front of Wiltord?
Does Wiltord remind you of Lacazette?
What?
He does a bit, yeah.
I actually think Wiltord's got a bit more in it. I don't know, but I'm not. But Eddie Nketiah. Do you think Eddie Nketiah can make it at Arsenal?
No.
No, I don't think so. I think he's a real type of player. I think
regarding Balogun, if he ever get a chance, Balogun.
I hope he does.
Well,
if
they can sort out a contract for him, yeah.
Whenever I've watched him playing for the under 23s or whatever it is, he just looks like lightning. He's so good balance, such a good finisher.
Yeah, listen, we've been going over an hour and a half, and I'm sure the women in your household will be very wanting you to get.
Yeah, she's going for a pie and mash. I've got to make a pie and mash.
Oh, dear.
Pie and mash?
Yeah.
Pie and mash and liquor.
What did you get her for Valentine's Day?
Absolutely. Oh.
What about you, Kenny? What did you get your missus for Valentine's Day?
Well, well, I actually got a card. The kids made me buy something else for her, but we agreed we weren't going to get him. We agreed we're not going to get each other anything, so I ended up with nothing.
I'm going to be controversial.
I ended up with nothing.
It's commercial
blackmail.
I think Russell agrees with me. I think it's commercial blackmail.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
The same as Mother's Day.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. You should appreciate your mother.
I've got a phone call from this girl who dated Ty. She wants to come out here.
Yasmin.
Yeah.
I just love the way he eats that pizza. That was brilliant, wasn't it?
I can't watch it. I feel too bad. I can't watch that. I can't watch it. It's unwatchable.
Yeah, but he had a beautiful young lady in front of him, and he was worried about Cecil taking his dinner away from him at the end.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
You pay off for it in the end, Claude.
Hey.
You pay off for it in the end because he always said he'd have a first date year, he'd only pay off.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Did you see her face when he said that?
Claude, do you remember when
Ty's married to Arsenal Football Club? Ty would not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. With that shadow of that ease.
Yeah.
Used to be married to Wenger.
Because she kept asking him, what would you do if I supported Tottenham? Would you date me?
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's the funniest thing, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Listen, boys. So I really appreciate you boys coming on
The thing's
today.
twice-
Good chat there, bringing back the old days. It was, that's what this was all about tonight. I just, I miss the old days. I do miss it. I mean, miss it. I miss it more than anything because I think there was more of a. Especially on the away days, you go on the train, you play cards, you had that camaraderie. It was fantastic. I loved it. I loved the old days, and you'll never get them back. It's not for me. It's not the same anymore. For us, it's not the same anymore.
No, I'd say that we were talking about that the other day.
Social media has ruined it all for us.
There was on the travel club. They said.
I remember when it first opened in 70. Was it 78? It first opened.
Yeah. We were on a football special. We were on a football special, Claude, going to I think we're going to Sheffield United for a cup game, and they just put a new rule in. They said, you're only allowed to take 2 tins on the train. So my mate John White, the fellow who took me to my first game, he said to me, "Oh, we could have managed with 2 tins. It's like 3.5, 4 hours Sheffield in them days." So we're going to be bored out of our head after about half an hour on the train. So I said, I've got a cunning plan. So we went in the off licence and we both bought 2 party 7s each. And we walked on the train with these 2 carrier bags with these 2 party 7s. And the old Bill said, "Where are you going with them?" He goes, "Well, what's the matter?" He goes, "You can't take all that on there. It's a 2-can limit." So I've got him out. He goes, 1 can, 2 cans. He went, "You cheeky bastards." We'll get on the... We never had a tin opener to open them. So we had to ask the tin opener to open them. Because you had to puncture them, didn't you? And there was all beer going everywhere to try to drink them at these parties, several going down.
The oldest trick in the book is to get a big bottle of Coke and mix it with a bottle, put a bit of Scotch. No one knew any different, did they?
Yeah, there was ways around it.
There was ways around, and it was good. And I used to enjoy card games on the train as well. I used to play cards. In fact, it was even on the coaches. You was allowed on the coach to have once in the early 80s on the coach you could have beer. They were serving the coach. They were actually serving the beer on the coach.
Wow. Yeah.
And it weren't very good because half of them were already drunk before they got to the game. But before they got to the ground, what I mean? You couldn't do that now. Now you're not.
It was unbelievable, Cole. I remember we was at West Brom. I think it was the first time I took my old lady out. I took her to West Brom away. And we were on the train. We drew 2-2. I think Robson and Regis scored, and I think Stapleton scored for us. Anyway, we're on the train, and the transport police say, "Well, put all the shutters down." It was like a compartment train. Put all the shutters down, both sides. Don't stand in the alleyway till we get through this underpass. So, next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. There was glass and rocks and everything coming through these train windows. There was not a window left on the train. They bricked the whole train, and it was bloody freezing all the way home. But you imagine winter time, freezing cold, no windows. Oh, it was a long.
I'll tell you what was dodgy grand at the time, years ago as well. It's not so much now. Stoke City, when you got off the train, you had to be hauled to the ground from the station by the police.
Ninian Park was as well. Ninian Park, Cardiff. That was a dodgy one to get in and out of.
And talking about away grounds, Millwall, man, God blimey. I saw bottles go from one side of the Old Kent Road to the other with flying across. Oh dear. Those were the days, mate. Those are the days. You won't get them back again, mate. It's a different breed of fans now, I'm afraid. It's a different breed of fans.
I just hope the viewers have enjoyed it and we haven't bored them.
No. It's great. It's great to have you. I'm going to have you on again soon, yeah? Both of you.
One thing I want to say, guys. I went to the Old Den. I've been to the Old Den to watch Arsenal.
That was the Old Den I'm talking about, with a hole in the room. Hole in the room.
Remember that game when Tony had when they actually filmed it?
I was there.
Yeah.
Part score for that.
That's when Tony Adams was going, "It's my goal. My goal." So that game.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's the game.
Jimmy Carter opened
The game he was mic'd up.
That's the game the referee was mic'd up.
Yeah.
And George Graham came into the referee's dressing room to have a word with him, and he saw the TV cameras, and he dashed out.
Was it Brian Marwood and Alan Smith? Was it Brian Marwood and Alan Smith got the goals for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that because
right,
Jimmy Carter put them in front, didn't he? Jimmy Carter put them in front. Yeah, I remember that. And we ended up playing for us, didn't he, Jimmy Carter?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did have a very good time.
They had Terry Hurlock. I've met Terry. I've had a drink.
That was memorable.
He's a big guy, eh?
Terry Hurlock.
Yeah, I've had a drink with him in Walthamstow. We had a drink together once in Walthamstow when the World Cup was going on, and my mate knows him really well. Really nice guy, man, but funny, really funny guy. Yeah. Great. Anyway, I really appreciate you boys coming on. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Russ, for coming on, mate.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Been a pleasure.
And you know, I mean, it's cheered me up. I've not been very well. And it's cheered me up.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, Kenny. Nice to speak to you.
Kenny sits in the same section as me. God help him.
Poor sod. I feel for you, Kenny.
No, it's brilliant. We love it. But the thing about it is, right, is that we took it for granted, didn't we? Last March, we never saw this coming, did we?
Nah, not at all.
No,
not at all. It's a world changer, game changer. It's
I think we was at home to West Ham was the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice day as well. Cold nice day.
VAR goal. We got a VAR goal. Lacazette coming up from the
You know what, Russ? What's annoying? What's horrible about it? I'm getting used to it now, watching it on the TV. I don't even know if
I like it, Claude. I like to be there.
Yeah.
I like to be there screaming and shouting, cheering the boys on. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. True, very true. But at least you can
songs away games. It's lovely.
At least now, as fans can get to watch every single game now, can't they? Because not every game was on the TV. And
no. That's one good thing about it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean it's always been like that out here in the States since NBC took over the TV rights. They show every single game. So if there are 2 or more games being played at the same time, you can select which game you want to watch.
Is that pay-per-view over there then? Is it pay-per-view?
Yeah, sort of pay-per-view. It's a lot of these channels have got, a lot of these TV companies have several channels, and you can just, it's a set of 2 or 3 games on at the same time. Right. You can just go online and just pick the game you want to watch.
Yeah. Anyway, as I said, thank you so much for coming on. We'll have to do this again. If you ever let me know if you want to come on again, boys, whenever you feel like coming on. Because I enjoyed this. And Kenny,
we're talking about good things.
Yeah, let's hope we can, when we come back again, we can talk about Arsenal winning the Europa League or being top 4. Who knows? We're only 6 points off top 4 now.
Tottenham not winning the league for 60 years.
Beating Spurs at home.
Kenny's top 4 on, 6 points off. 6 points off. Top 4 is on.
We could beat Manchester City next week.
I don't think top 4's on. Could do.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Guardiola might take knowing that they've got such a big lead. He might say, Arteta, big mate. I have it on me. You don't know.
They've got several injury. They have several injury problems. De Bruyne is out and Gundogan's out.
No, because they're such. You never know, do you? Because they've got a big lead up there. They might say, "Oh, come on, let him win this one." You know?
They're 2 of my favourite players at the moment, De Bruyne and Gundogan. Very good.
It ain't going to happen.
2 of my favourite players.
If we play like we did the first half, I think we can beat them. If we played like we did first half, yes.
Claude, on our day, we can. If we use this and don't try and be too clever, we can play simple, effective football. We can beat anyone.
That pressing in the first half, we do that against Man City. Who knows what can happen?
Yeah. 3-0.
I'm going to have a
Yeah,
little
the thing
punt.
about it is-
5-1 to win next week. I might have a
I
little
hope so.
punt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, fine.
I thought you'd say that.
Before we go, score predictions for Benfica. Russell.
Are we away first?
Well, it's ridiculous.
What's the point in what's the point in having 2 games in different countries? Why not just have it a knockout? I don't get it.
No.
Why are we playing 2 legs?
Mate, money. It's all about money, isn't it? Money.
TV money.
Yeah.
So
there's no home advantage. So
So yeah, but there must be a home leg and an away leg. Are we at home first?
We're away first.
No, we're away.
I think
We're
we might
away
sneak
first.
it 2-1.
Away
You
first.
think we'll 2-1? Kenny?
1-0 Arsenal. 1
What about
Arsenal.
you, Lawrence? What about you, Lawrence?
Both of you have taken my scores, so I'll go 1-1
I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal. I think Aubameyang's on fire now. And by the way, Kenny, I'm going to bring that up to you. Played through the middle, hat trick. There we go, Kenny. What
And what have I been saying for weeks?
He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't play through the middle.
No, he did play through the middle. Yes, yeah, he was playing through the middle yesterday.
He was
sort
on
of
the left-hand side.
He was drifting in, wasn't he?
But it was more down the middle than he is normally.
He was a sort of a third rather than being right up.
No, he went down the middle, Claude. He went down the middle. No, he went down the middle.
Oh,
well, that's what everyone is saying, Kenny. I watched it. Everyone else is saying it. Only you saying it.
No, I think Kenny's right there, Claude. He started off with that first goal.
Don't listen to everyone else. Don't listen to everyone else.
No, Odegaard was playing wide, wasn't he? Saka was playing the other side, weren't he? And he was, and Smith Rowe was playing behind, weren't he? I think he was more through the.
It was more inside left than left wing. Put it that way.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But he was brilliant last. He was brilliant yesterday.
We had the front three interchanged. They interchanged.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
At the end of the day, lads, all we want is Arsenal to do well.
That's it.
No agenda with me wanting us to lose games like I've been accused of. Because I'm negative sometimes, I get accused of wanting Arsenal to lose. I never want Arsenal to lose. I hate it when Arsenal lose.
Take no notice. Take no notice. You know what I mean?
Anyway, I just thought I'd put that one out there.
Right, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed. We've been on here nearly 2 hours. I can't believe our time has flown by, and I'm sure the wives of these gentlemen are not going to be happy with me tonight. Keeping them.
I'm over the moon.
It's going in a bit.
Okay.
See ya.
Boys. Cheers, boys. Cheers, everyone.
Bye, everyone. The Gunners.
And let's onwards to Thursday. Let's hope we get a great result. Sorry, Kenny? You was going to say something? All right.
You might as well run for the full 2 hours now.
Take care, everyone. And
I just want to say bye.
Bye, everyone. See ya.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Up the Gunners.
Have a look in.
Right, I really must go. My